Hello बच्चों, today we study about the first chapter of ninth standard, that is matter in our surrounding. तो first of all we know about the what is meant by the matter, और matter आया कहाँ से, कैसे आया, क्या आया. सबसे पहले देखते हैं physical and chemical changes, pure substance, mixture and state of matters. तो we see about the matters. तो what is the matter? Everything that has mass and volume is called matter. The substance which has mass as well as volume is known as the matter. And what kind of changes does the matter undergo? All the matter, regardless of state, undergoes physical and chemical change. These changes can be microscopic or macroscopic. Okay, the properties of matter. तो सबसे पहले अपन देखते हैं बच्चा लोग कि what is meant by the property of matter. तो properties, first of all property descriptions and example. Okay, तो first property है electrical conductivity. Electrical conductivity is ability to carry electricity. Example, copper is a good conductor of electrical conductor, so it is used in wiring. Then heat conductivity, ability to transfer energy as heat. Aluminum is a good heat conductor, so it is used to make pot and pans. Density, mass to volume ratio of a substance, measure of how tight matter is packed. तो देखते हैं एग्जाम्पल. लीड इज अ वेरी डेंस मटेरियल, सो इट इज यूज्ड टू मेक सिंकर्स फॉर फिशिंग लाइन. Then melting point, temperature at which a solid change state to become a liquid. Okay, then ice melt to a liquid, water at the melting point of water. Then boiling point, temperature at which a liquid boils and changes state to become a gas at a given pressure. Liquid water become a water vapor at the boiling point of water. Index of refractions, extent to which a given material bend light passing through it. The index of refractions of water tells you how much light show and bends as it passes through water. Then malleability, ability to be hammered or beaten into turn into sheets. अगर मैं किसी भी मेटल्स को बीट वगैरह करता हूँ तो वो काय में कन्वर्ट हो जाएगा, शीट में कन्वर्ट हो जाएगा. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, सिल्वर इज क्वाइट मेलेबल, सो इट इज यूज टू मेक ज्वेलरी. Then ductility, ability to be drawn into a thin wire. Titanium is a ductile metal, so it is used to make the fine dental tools. And what is a physical change? Okay, a physical change occurs when a substance changes state but does not change its chemical compositions. For example, water freezing into ice, cutting a piece of wood into a smaller pieces, etc. The form or appearance has changed, but the properties of that substance are the same. For example, it has the same melting point, boiling point, chemical compositions. तो what is meant by the physical change? बच्चा लोग कि physical change ऐसे होते हैं कि जिनको मैं टेम्परेचर या फिर उसकी वजह से उनकी प्रॉपर्टी में चेंज नहीं होना चाहिए. दैट इज ऑल्सो कॉल्ड एज द फिजिकल. अ फिजिकल चेंज अगर व्हेन द सब्सटेंस चेंज स्टेट बट डज नॉट चेंज इट्स केमिकल कंपोजिशंस. अगर केमिकल कंपोजिशन में चेंजेस नहीं हो रहे हैं तो वो कौन सी प्रॉपर्टी कहलाएंगे आपके लिए? फिजिकल प्रॉपर्टी. कैरेक्टरिस्टिक ऑफ फिजिकल चेंज. अब इसकी कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स है, सबसे पहला क्या है आपके लिए? मेल्टिंग पॉइंट, बॉइलिंग पॉइंट, वेपर प्रेशर, कलर, स्टेट ऑफ मैटर, डेंसिटी, इलेक्ट्रिकल conductivity, solubility, absorptions to a surface and hardness. And what is chemical change? What is meant by the chemical change? A chemical change occurs when a substance changes into something new. This occurs टू हीटिंग केमिकल रिएक्शंस एक्सेट्रा। मतलब जो भी सब्सटेंस है उसके केमिकल कंपोजिशंस में अगर चेंजेस आ रहे हैं तो वो आपके लिए कौन से चेंजेस हो जाएगा, केमिकल चेंज हो जाएगा एक्सेट्रा। यू कैन टेल अ केमिकल चेंजेस हैज अकर्ड इफ द डेंसिटी, मेल्टिंग पॉइंट और फ्रीजिंग पॉइंट ऑफ द substance of the original substance changes. Many common signs of the chemical change can be seen: bubbles forming, mass change. Then characteristics of chemical change. तो chemical changes की characteristics होती है बच्चा लोग, reaction with acid, reaction with base, reaction with oxygen, ability to act as oxidizing agent, ability to act as a reducing agent, reaction with other element, decomposition into simpler substance, and next will be corrosion. Intensive and extensive property. What is meant by the intensive and extensive property? Physical and chemical properties may be intensive or extensive. So what is the intensive property? Do you know about the intensive property? Intensive properties such as density, color and boiling point do not depend on the size of the sample of matter and can be used to identify the substance. Let's see the state of matters. First of all, solid state, liquid state and gaseous state. The molecules are very close to each other. The molecules have the small space between them, and the molecules of the gas spread and have the more space than the solid and liquid. So for example, hold a shape, fixed shape रहेगा इसका, shape of the container, free surface, fixed volume, shape of container, volume of container. Let's see the solid state. Okay, a substance is said to be a solid if it is possesses a definite volume and definite shape. A substance have the definite volume and definite shape. It is known as the solid state of the matter. For example, sugar, rock, table, gold, iron, etc. In a solid, the constituent particles are held very close to each other in an orderly fashion, and there is not much freedom of movement. Then next state, liquid state. A substance is said to be liquid if it possesses a definite volume. Listen here, definite volume but not a definite shape. Its shape changes according to container. Okay, they take up the shape of the vessel in which they are put. For example, water, milk, petrol, oil, mercury, alcohol. देखिए examples. In the liquid, particles are close to each other, but they can move around. Gaseous state. Let's see about the gaseous state. A substance is said to be gas if it neither possesses a definite volume nor definite shape. यहाँ पे दोनों की दोनों नहीं रहेगा, ना तो shape रहेगा ना तो volume रहेगा, but it have mass. For example, hydrogen, oxygen, carbon dioxide, air, etc. In gaseous matter, the particles are far apart compared to those present in the solid or liquid state, and their movement is easy and fast. What is the extensive property? The extensive properties such as mass and volume depends on the quantity of the sample. How can we identify physical property? Physical property कैसे पता कर सकते हैं? A physical property are those that we can determine without changing the identity of the substance we are studying. Then example of physical properties. The physical property of the sodium metal can be observed or measured. It is a soft, luster, silver color metal with a relative low melting point and low density. Hardness, color, melting point and the density are all the physical property. What are the chemical property? First of all, we see the physical property. For example, I take this material, it has a proper shape, black in color, that is called as the physical property. And do you know about the chemical property? The material is made up of substance. The substance, this material contain many types of substance. That substance is called as the chemical properties. For example, chemical property describe the way a substance can change or react to form other substances. This property then must be determined using a process that changes the identity of the substance of interest. How can chemical property be identified? Okay, one of the chemical property of alkali metals such as sodium and potassium is that they react with water. To determine this, we should have to combine an alkali metal with water and observe what happens. Okay, in other words, we have to define chemical properties of a substance by the chemical changes it undergoes. The comparison of physical and chemical property, that is the comparison between the physical and chemical property. For example, mercury physical property कैसी है इसकी? Silver white liquid metal. It is a solid state mercury, ductile and malleable and can be cut with a knife. अब इसी का chemical property देखते हैं. From alloy with most metal except iron, combines rapidly with sulfur at normal temperature, react with nitric acid and hot sulfuric acid. The reactions of the mercury, it is called as the chemical property, and the color state, that is called as the physical property. What are substance? What is meant by the substance? Substance can be identified as either an element, compound or a mixture. So what is a substance? A substance cannot be further broken down or purified by the physical means. A substance is matter of a particular kind. Such kind, each substance has its own characteristics, properties that are different from the set of properties of any other substance. Characteristics of the pure substance. Pure substance में कैसा रहेगा? Fixed proportions, cannot be separated into simpler substance by physical method. Can only be changed in identical and properties by the chemical method. Properties do not vary. What is a pure substance? There are the two types of pure substance. First of all, compound, and second will be the element. Compound is made up of two types of element in the fixed proportions. An element is made up of only single type of atom. It can be decomposed into simpler substance by chemical changes, always in a definite ratio, and cannot be decomposed into simpler substance by the chemical changes. What is mixture? And third substance is the mixture, that is the impure substance. A mixture are two or more substances that are not chemically combined. Mixture do not have constant boiling point, have constant melting point. ये दोनों की दोनों चीजें नहीं होंगी. मिक्सर के अकॉर्डिंग आपका उसका बॉइलिंग पॉइंट एंड मेल्टिंग पॉइंट क्या हो जाएगा? चेंज हो जाएगा. नेक्स्ट, कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स ऑफ मिक्सचर. व्हाट इज मीन बाय कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स ऑफ मिक्सचर? वेरिएबल कंपोजिशंस, कंपोनेंट्स रिटेन देयर characteristic properties, may be separated into pure substance by the physical method. Mixture of the different composition may have widely different properties. Then next, homogeneous mixture. First of all, we see the types of mixture, that is homogeneous mixture. Homogeneous mixture look the same throughout but can be separated by the physical means: dissolution, centrifugation, gravimeters, filtering. Example, milk, yogurt. Then and Then indicators of homogeneous mixture have the same compositions throughout. Components are the indistinguishable, may or may not scatter light, example milk, yogurt, etc. What are the solutions? The solutions are the homogeneous mixture that do not scatter light. These mixture are created when the something is a completely dissolved in pure water, therefore they are easily separated by the distillations or evaporation. For example, sugar, water, salt and water. Heterogeneous mixture. Next, heterogeneous mixture are the composed of large pieces that are the easily separated by the physical means density, polarity, metallic properties. Then indicators of heterogeneous mixture. Heterogeneous में कैसा कैसे है, जैसे कि फॉर एग्जांपल आई टेक अ सैंड वाटर, they show the two types of layer, they do not have the same compositions throughout. Components are the differentiable fruits, salad, vegetable soap. Law of conservation of matter. अब law of conservation of matter, there is no observable change the quantity of matter during the chemical reaction or physical changes. In other words, matter cannot be created nor be destroyed, it's just converted from the one form to another form. What are the colloids? What are the colloids? Colloids क्या होते हैं बच्चा लोग? Let's see. Colloids are solutions. They can be described as a substance trapped inside another substance. They can be identified by their characteristics scattering of light. For example, air trapped inside the fat molecules in the whipped cream. State of matters. Let's see the state of matter and how the kinetic molecular theory affect each. First of all, solid, liquid, gas, plasma and other. Solid. Let's see the about solid. Have a definite shape, have a definite volume. Kinetic molecular theory. Molecules are held close together and there is very little movement between them. Liquid have indefinite shape, have definite volume. Kinetic molecular theory, atoms and molecule have the more space between them than a solid, thus but less than a gas. Okay. For example, it is more fluid. Gas have indefinite shape, have indefinite volume. इनका जो kinetic molecular theory, molecules are the moving in a random pattern with varying amounts of distance between the particles. Then kinetic molecular model of matter. Okay, at 100 degrees Celsius, water become a water vapor, a gas. Molecules can move randomly over a large substance. Below 0 degree, water solidified into become a ice. In the solid state, water molecules are held together in a rigid structure between 0 to 100 degrees Celsius. Water is a liquid. In the liquid state, water molecules are close together but can move about freely. Changing state. Let's see the changing state. Changing state requires energy in either the form of heat. Changing state may also be due to the change in pressure in a system. Okay, gas, liquid, then solid. Plasma state. Let's see the fourth state of matter, that is plasma. Plasma is by far the most common form of matter. Plasma is the star and in the tenuous space between them make up over 99% of the visible universe and perhaps most of that which is not visible. On earth we lie upon an island of ordinary matter. The different state of matter generally found on the on earth are solid, liquid, gas. We have learned to work, play and rest using this familiar state of matter. Sir William Crookes, an English physicist, identified the fourth state of matter, now called as plasma, in 1879. Plasma temperature and densities range from relatively cool and tenuous like aurora to very hot and dense like the central core of a star. Ordinary solid, liquid and gas are both electrically neutral and too cool or dense to be in a plasma state. The word plasma was first applied to ionized gas by Dr. Levin Langmuir, an American chemist and physicist, in 1929. Star formations in the Eagle Nebula Space Telescope Science Institute. Plasma radiations with the Princeton laser plasma interactions during the interlayer. Plasma consists of a collection of free moving electrons and ions, atoms that have lost electron. The energy is needed to strip electrons from the atoms to make plasma. The energy can be of various origins: thermal, electrical or light. Ultraviolet light or intense visible light from a laser with the insufficient sustaining power, plasma recombine into neutral gas. Plasma can be accelerated and steered by the electric and magnetic field, which allow it to be controlled, and applied plasma research in yielding a greater understanding of the universe. It also provides many practical uses, new manufacturing techniques, consumers produce, and the prospect of abundant energy. Product manufacture using plasma impact our daily lives. Example: computer chips and integrated circuits, computer hard drive, electronics, machine tools, medical implants and prostheses, audio and video tapes, aircraft and automobiles, engine part, printing on a plastic food containers, energy efficient window coating, high efficiency window coating, safe drinking water, voice and data communications component, anti-scratch and anti-glare coating on eyeglass and other optics. Plasma technology are the important in industries with the annual world markets approaching 200 billions. Waste processing, coating and films, electronics, computer chips and integrated circuit, advanced material, ceramics, high efficiency लाइटिंग. वाटर प्यूरिफिकेशन सिस्टम में प्लाज्मा का कैसे यूज होता है? प्लाज्मा बेस्ड सोर्स कैन इमिट इंटेंस बीम ऑफ यूवी एंड एक्स-रे रेडिएशन और इलेक्ट्रॉन बीम फ्रॉम अ वैरायटी ऑफ इन्वायरमेंटल एप्लीकेशंस. For water sterilizations, intense UV emissions disable the DNA of microorganisms in the water, which then cannot be replicated. There is no effect on taste or smell of the water, and the technique only takes place about 12 seconds. This plasma-based UV method is effective against all waterborne bacteria and viruses. Intense UV water purification systems are especially relevant to the needs of the developing countries because they can be made simple to use and have low maintenance, high throughput and low cost. Plasma based UV water treatment system use about 20,000 times less energy than the boiling water. Environmental impact. So, thank you for watching this video.